Welcome to the MindSpark, bringing you the latest news from around the world. The air in Brito, Nicaragua, was thick with anticipation. It was December 22, 2014. The world's cameras were pointed at this small coastal town. A groundbreaking ceremony was about to begin, the start of the Nicaragua Canal. This was no ordinary project. It was a $50 billion gamble, a new waterway to rival Panama. Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega stood beside Chinese billionaire Wang Jing, promising prosperity and transformation. The Nicaraguan flag flew next to the HKND company's banner, Wang Jing's firm backed by Chinese capital. For a century, the US had dominated this region, with the Panama Canal as its symbol. Now, China was stepping onto the stage, signaling a shift in global power. The investment was staggering, more than 4 times Nicaragua's entire economy. The ceremony was political theater, filled with grand promises, jobs, poverty reduction, a new era of commerce. But behind the optimism, questions lingered. Who was Wang Jing? Was this really a private venture, or was Beijing pulling the strings? Critics worried about secrecy and the power given to a foreign company. For some, it was hope. For others, deep concern. The project was immense, a 172-mile waterway, 3 times longer than Panama's, deeper and wider, built for the world's largest ships. The plan included 2 deep-water ports, an airport, and a free trade zone, a vision of a modern Nicaragua. But as the dust settled, the challenge ahead became clear. Building this canal would mean moving mountains, literally and politically. The world was watching. Would this be a triumph of engineering, or a colossal failure? The first shovels of dirt marked a new chapter in Central American history. The stakes were high for everyone involved. The symbolism was powerful, a new power rising in Central America. The project's scale and ambition were unprecedented. Yet the reality of the challenge loomed large. The ceremony was just the beginning. The future of Nicaragua and global trade hung in the balance. The world's eyes remained fixed on Brito. Would this canal reshape the world, or become a cautionary tale? Only time would tell. The story of the Nicaragua Canal had begun. The dream of a canal through Nicaragua is centuries old. Long before the Panama Canal, explorers saw Nicaragua's geography as a natural path between oceans. Spanish conquistadors imagined ships laden with gold sailing through Central America. In the 1800s, the US nearly chose Nicaragua for its canal, with tycoon Cornelius Vanderbilt running a transit route across the isthmus. But political instability and a well-timed stamp showing a volcano shifted focus to Panama. The Nicaraguan dream faded, but never died. Now, in the 21st century, China has revived it. This is no longer just about trade routes, it's about global power. China, the world's factory, needs secure shipping lanes for its goods and resources. Relying on the US-influenced Panama Canal is a strategic risk for Beijing. A new canal, funded by Chinese money, offers a solution and a bold move in the global chess game. The Nicaragua Canal connects the ambitions of past explorers to today's superpowers. It's a direct challenge to the status quo, signaling a shift in global power from west to east. For Nicaragua, it's a chance to realize a centuries-old dream. For China, it's a critical piece of its economic and strategic future. The old dream has become a modern power play. The stakes are higher than ever. This is about more than geography, it's about influence. The canal's revival is a story of history, ambition, and geopolitics. The world is watching as old dreams meet new realities. The outcome could reshape the global order. The Nicaragua Canal is now a symbol of 21st century power. For over a century, the Panama Canal has defined global trade. When it opened in 1914, it was an engineering marvel, slicing through Panama to create a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific. Before the canal, ships sailed 13,000 miles around South America. The canal cut that to just over 5,000. This revolutionized shipping, saving time and money and boosting trade worldwide. The canal became a vital artery of the global economy. About 5% of world trade passes through it each year. For the US, it was a symbol of power and influence. The canal's control meant strategic dominance, especially during wartime. Its transfer to Panama in 1999 marked the end of an era. Today, the canal's stability is crucial for global supply chains. But ships have grown larger, many now outsize even the expanded Panama Canal. Panama responded with a massive expansion in 2016, but even that has limits. The world's largest supertankers and container ships, especially those China relies on, are still too big. Enter the Nicaragua Canal, bigger, deeper, wider, designed for the mega ships of the 21st century. It aims to do to Panama what Panama did to old sea routes, make them obsolete. The stakes are economic and strategic. The world's shipping lanes are evolving. The next chapter in global trade could be written in Nicaragua. The race for dominance continues. The Nicaragua Canal project dwarfs Panama in scale. At 172 miles, it's over 3 times longer than Panama's 51-mile route. Its planned depth and width would allow the world's largest ships, too big even for Panama's new locks, to pass. This is a competition of size and ambition. The Nicaragua Canal isn't just a waterway, it's a logistics hub with ports, an airport and industrial zones. But the challenges are immense. The route cuts through Lake Nicaragua, requiring massive dredging and complex locks. Environmental risks are huge and the engineering is daunting. The $50 billion price tag is a massive gamble for a country with little experience in such projects. Panama has a century of proven reliability. Nicaragua is starting from scratch. Skepticism runs high among shippers, environmentalists, and locals. Political risks and opposition are fierce. On paper, Nicaragua's canal is bigger and bolder. In reality, Panama's canal is trusted and established. It's a clash between an established champion and an unproven challenger. The outcome is uncertain. The world is watching this rivalry unfold. For Nicaragua, the canal was sold as a golden ticket. Promises of hundreds of thousands of jobs and a modernized infrastructure dazzled the nation. New ports, roads, and an airport would connect the country and attract investment. The government claimed the canal would double GDP and reduce poverty. But the deal gave HKND a 50-year lease, broad powers to expropriate land, and raised fears that profits and top jobs would flow abroad. Critics questioned how much wealth would stay in Nicaragua. Was this true prosperity, or just another case of foreign control? The dream was seductive, but the risks were real. For many, the golden promise seemed too good to be true. The canal's route cuts through Lake Nicaragua, the region's largest freshwater source. Dredging a deep channel could stir up toxic sediments, threatening water supplies and wildlife. Sensitive ecosystems, rainforests, wetlands, endangered species would be destroyed. Saltwater intrusion could devastate the lake's unique ecosystem. Up to 120,000 people, many indigenous and small farmers, faced displacement. Protests erupted as land was expropriated with little compensation. Critics called the environmental and social impact studies inadequate. The project became a symbol of conflict development versus the rights of people and nature. For those in the canal's path, the price of progress was too high. Their land, water, and heritage were at stake. The Nicaragua Canal is more than a business venture. It's a strategic move. China wants to reduce its reliance on the US-influenced Panama Canal. A new canal in Nicaragua, funded and controlled by a Chinese company, is a strategic insurance policy. The project fits China's Belt and Road Initiative, building new trade routes and expanding influence. It's a bold projection of Chinese power into America's backyard. The US has responded with caution but watches closely. A Chinese-controlled canal would shift the regional balance of power. It challenges the long-standing US dominance in the hemisphere. For shipping companies, a second canal could mean lower fees but also new risks. The project forces nations to reconsider their alliances. The canal is a symbol of the new global rivalry between China and the US. The stakes are geopolitical as much as economic. The world order is shifting, one waterway at a time. Building the Nicaragua Canal would be an engineering feat of epic proportions. Digging a 172-mile channel up to 520 meters wide and 30 meters deep would require moving 5 billion cubic meters of earth. The canal would need the world's largest locks built in a region prone to earthquakes and volcanoes. International expertise and coordination would be essential, straining Nicaragua's limited infrastructure. Delays, cost overruns, and technical setbacks could doom the project. The $50 billion price tag was likely optimistic. With Wang Jing's finances in question, doubts grew. Without solid funding and political stability, the canal remained a dream on paper. As of June 2025, the Nicaragua Canal is stalled, its promise unfulfilled. The machinery is silent, HKND has vanished, and the land remains untouched. The project is not dead, but in deep slumber, leaving broken promises behind. If revived, the canal could transform global trade and Nicaragua's fortunes. For China, it would be a strategic triumph. But the risks, environmental disaster, social upheaval, geopolitical conflict, and financial ruin, are immense. Will the canal remain a forgotten dream, or rise again? Its fate will shape Nicaragua, global power, and the future of trade. The watery path through Nicaragua remains undug, its future uncertain. The world can only watch and wonder. The story of the Nicaragua Canal, even in its unfinished state, has sent ripples through the corridors of power worldwide. Its very proposal forced governments, corporations, and military strategists to reconsider their assumptions. If the canal ever becomes reality, the global map of trade and influence could be rewritten overnight. New shipping routes might bypass the Panama Canal, shifting economic power toward Nicaragua and its allies. Central America could become a battleground for influence as the United States, China, and regional players jockey for control. Old alliances may fracture. New partnerships could emerge, built on access and leverage over this vital waterway. For China, the canal represents more than commerce. It's a foothold in the Western Hemisphere, challenging U.S. dominance and signaling a new era of multipolar geopolitics. For the U.S. and its partners, the calculus of security and trade would demand urgent revision. Even as bulldozers sit idle, the idea of the canal has changed the game. It has exposed vulnerabilities, ambitions, and the shifting tides of global power. The world is left with a pressing question. In the race to control the arteries of global trade, who will set the course for the century ahead? The answer may depend not just on engineering, but on the unpredictable currents of geopolitics. As the world's attention fixates on the geopolitical chessboard, another battle unfolds, one waged quietly in the wetlands, forests, and communities of Nicaragua. The proposed canal route left scars, displaced wildlife, threatened water sources, and anxious local populations. Yet, in the wake of halted construction, a new wave of action has emerged. International conservation groups have partnered with Nicaraguan scientists to replant mangroves, restore habitats, and monitor the slow return of endangered species. Environmental recovery teams, backed by global donors, are working tirelessly to stabilize riverbanks and replenish the delicate balance of Lake Nicaragua. Their efforts have seen pockets of success, migratory birds returning, water quality inching upward, and local fishers reporting gradual improvements. But the story is far from finished. Funding gaps, political uncertainty, and the looming possibility of resumed construction keep progress fragile. International watchdogs continue to call for transparency, while local activists demand stronger protections and compensation for affected communities. The canal's legacy, it seems, is not just a question of power or profit, but of stewardship and resilience. As nations debate the future of trade and influence, the world watches to see if Nicaragua's wounded landscapes can truly heal, and if the lessons learned here will shape how humanity balances ambition with responsibility in the decades to come. As the dust settles over Nicaragua's canal saga, a bigger question looms. What does the future hold for megaprojects in an era of rapid change? The world stands at a crossroads where technological leaps, a warming climate, and shifting global priorities are redrawing the blueprint for grand ambitions. Artificial intelligence and automation promise to revolutionize how infrastructure is designed, built, and managed. Future canals, tunnels, and bridges could be constructed with unprecedented precision, minimizing environmental damage and maximizing efficiency. Waterways might be monitored in real time, with smart sensors predicting maintenance needs and protecting fragile ecosystems. Yet, climate change adds a new layer of complexity. Rising sea levels, unpredictable weather, and water scarcity are forcing planners to rethink what's possible and what's responsible. Projects like the Nicaragua Canal must now contend with the realities of a hotter, more volatile planet where yesterday's solutions may no longer fit tomorrow's challenges. Meanwhile, the global conversation is shifting. Economic growth is increasingly weighed against social justice, environmental stewardship, and long-term sustainability. Grassroots movements, empowered by digital connectivity, demand a seat at the table. Investors and governments are under pressure to prove that megaprojects benefit not just the powerful, but everyone. So, will the next generation of megaprojects be monuments to human ingenuity or cautionary tales of unchecked ambition? The answer may depend on the choices we make today, embracing innovation, respecting nature, and ensuring that progress truly serves the common good. As Nicaragua's story fades from the headlines, its lessons endure. The future of mega projects is unwritten, shaped by the dreams and the wisdom of those bold enough to build the world anew.